Hey everybody, Alex from SeemsGoodMagic.com here. We're back doing an 8-4 Oath of the Gatewatch Battle for Zendikar draft. Once again, be sure and check out this week's episode and vote on Whose Card Is It Anyway, the weekly podcast I do with Dennis from Windmill Slam. And if you want to get the link for that, it's in the video description. Okay, Grasp of Darkness is very likely the first pick here. Good removal spell. Some good cards in here, though. We've got Blinding Drone, Boulder Salvo, Ondu War Cleric. I like Shrieker. Zendikar Resurgent is a cool card, but not the biggest fan. Probably a really, really good commander card, though. Still, I've gotten crippled playing against Zendikar Resurgent, and I've definitely crushed with it. But all in all, it's a very, in my opinion, high-risk, high-reward card. So I'd rather just take good old Grasp of Darkness. Okay. Could take the Spatial Contortion here. I like this card. It's a good removal spell. There's also Relief Captain, though, which might just be better. Relief Captain is very good. You gotta have a very creature-heavy deck to make Relief Captain work. It's probably the strongest card in here, though. Pumping 3 guys is very good. Otherwise, Spatial Contortion, like I said, is probably the close second. I like Envoy a lot, as you well know. Probably just going Relief Captain. I think it's the strongest card here. Okay. So what have we got now? We have Havoc Sower, Blinding Drone. I think those are the only two I'm really considering here. So, Blinding Drone pros, tapping stuff down is good. And it's cheap and it can block. I like Blinding Drone a lot, but Havoc Sower is a nice way to finish people off. Huh. I mean, they're probably pretty close in power level, which makes me want to just take the Havoc Sower to go better with our Grasp of Darkness. It's really tough to compare these two cards. They're both good. You probably find more 4-drops, which might make Havoc Sower worse, but I don't think I've ever had a Havoc Sower and not played it. Although, if I didn't have any colorless mana, I wouldn't play it, but the same argument could be said for Blinding Drone. I think we're going to take the Havoc Sower. Still have yet to play Mina and Den. I think it's a fine card, but whatever. Probably just want the Slaughter Drone here. I've come to just really like this card a lot. It just gets to attack and block. Attack early, block late, attack late. Very, very versatile 2-drop card. And I think I like it more than anything else in here. I just don't... I mean, Den's fine. I just don't think it's that amazing. It's an efficient card, but... also, Grip of the Royal in here. Might be blue-black. All right, Slaughter Drone number 2. I think we take it over the Boneyard and the Vestige and the Needle Spire. And the Stalking Drone. We're going to take Slaughter Drone number 2. So we're going to need some colorless mana at some point. Hopefully I can get that all figured out. Unity of Purpose, Containment Membrane. Is a Core Sky Climber. I mean, we do have the Relief Captain, but with all these Devoid cards, blue is a better direction to go. I just feel like going white with Devoid cards does not always work out the best. So do I like Membrane or Unity of Purpose more? Probably the Membrane. I think Unity of Purpose is actually a really good card, but like I said, finding 4-drops is typically easier than finding 3-drops or potentially 1-drops if I can surge it. Take the Membrane. Visions is good if we can be beat down, which we still can be. The problem is in non-beatdown decks, it's pretty awful. Certainly not an impressive card outside of beatdown. And Containment Membrane is also not a very beatdown card. There is Dwar Isle Avenger, Kozilek's Translator, and a Seer's Lantern. I like Translator more than Seer's Lantern. The 3/5 body is very good. I mean, it just seems like we can already use Translator to good effect. If I knew I was going to be beat down, I'd take Visions. I'm currently unconvinced. And I'm going to play Translator, so I'm just going to take it. All right, we get a second one. Or we can just take the first Waste. I probably just want the Waste now. Just make sure we get one. Warden and Translator number 2. Even Dwar Isle Avenger is probably fine, but we're just going to take a Waste. Okay, Holdout Settlement versus Cultivator Drone. Currently, Cultivator Drone looks pretty useful. It can play most of the cards in our deck, but we're not for sure blue yet, which kind of makes me want to just take the Holdout Settlement and get another colorless source here. Pretty good chance, well, almost 100% we're black, right? So I'm just sort of holding out on the second color until I find something really worth our time. So second Translator now or second Containment Membrane. Maybe it is the Membrane here. Okay, Sky Scour is really a nice kind of MVP card for these style of decks. All right, Unnatural Endurance, very good. Witnessing is totally playable. All right, all in all, I'd say a pretty successful pack one. I think we've pretty much established that we can make blue-black work. Like, we saw very late blue cards that are good. We certainly saw late playable black cards. Stoneforge Masterwork tends to really shine in this deck because currently I bet all of our creatures are Eldrazi that matter. So kind of am tempted to take that. I almost hope there's not a... All right, good. I was going to say, these are the, when you open Stoneforge Masterwork, you almost hope that there's not a Oblivion Strike in the pack, because otherwise you just have to take it. But thankfully, no. We can take the Masterwork, and like I said, now we're really highly motivated to go blue-black, just like all of the creatures are Eldrazi. And I really think Masterwork honestly shines the most in these decks. I really like it in these decks more than I like it in the ally decks. Just because you also get the Eldrazi token producers, which just make this exponentially stronger. I think we're very likely to wheel in a Gator. So it's a nice first pick. Jeez, Cliffhaven Vamp and a Mind Melter? We're going to take the Oblivion Strike, but definitely at least 2 cards we want to wheel in here. Mind Melter's not going to wheel unless blue-black is for sure open. Sky Scour probably will wheel, though, which is going to be a nice pickup for this deck for sure. So let's take the Oblivion Strike pretty happily. Okay, Blinding Drone now is looking a lot better. We're going to take that over Tar Snare and Translator. Definitely liking the direction of this deck a lot. Seagate Wreckage is actually very good. I'm going to take it. Our deck could use it, and I've found it to be a very nice card. And we're giving up a Grip of the Royal for it, which I actually like. Especially with Membrane, actually, they combo kind of well. Play this to tap it on their turn, draw the card, and then you can... Or do it on your turn, draw the card, and you still get to Membrane, and you're only down 1 card, technically. And it's a removal spell, so it's fine. All right, taking the Seagate Wreckage here. Crawler definitely seems like the right pick. Unfortunately, not an Eldrazi, but there's nothing else in this pack we want, really. I don't need a second waste. 3 colorless sources is usually where I like to be, and Hedron Crawler both ramping and giving a colorless source, I think, is going to be really nice. I guess Hedron Crawler still has positive interaction, pumping my Sky Scourer. And yeah, ramping to my 4 and 5 drops is not bad either. But we definitely want this deck to grab at least... We want at least 10 Eldrazi cards. Currently we're at what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we've got some work to do, but keep in mind there are quite a few Eldrazi cards we're going to see in Battle for Zendikar as well. Slaughter Drone number 3, I'm fine with that over the Crumbling Vestige. Like I said, I just love Slaughter Drone. Very happy to have it in this deck. Okay, we appear to have a bit of a miss here. I could take a second Witness the End. Not in love with it, but not in love with this pack. Otherwise, I could just hate something. Doesn't seem super likely I'd end up playing multiple Witness the Ends. Might want to just hate the Tajuru Pathwarden. I'd prefer if our deck did not play Ancient Crab. It's not the thematic direction I want this deck to go. Even though it does block well, it's just not the direction I want this deck to go. Pathwarden seems like the biggest threat, so I think I'll hate that. Okay, did get the Negator. I still don't... I mean, Visions could actually be played in here, but I'm going to take the Negator. I think that's just... It's also an Eldrazi. It's just basically what our deck is looking for here. All right, second Negator. I think we're going to go deep. Could take the Tendrils, but we have too many guys that die to it ourselves, so... Certainly means I don't want to play against it, but we're still in the process of picking up Eldrazi. Wheeling the Sky Scour is just great news. This deck is like exactly the... It's one of my... To be honest, it's one of my favorite archetypes. I'm going to take the second Translator over the Pathfinder, actually, since we have quite a bit of use for the colorless mana. We're not an ally deck. How many things do I want to bring back with Corpse Churn? I'm not sure I have enough creatures that I care about to take Corpse Churn. Maybe I just hate the Maw. I think I'm actually going to hate Maw. It kind of puts a stop to our... Alright, got the Corpse Churn anyway. I'm not going to play Entangler. This deck is definitely going to work out nicely for us. I'm already pretty happy with where we're at. I don't think we're going to have to end up main decking the Witness the End or the Negate, but everything else looks very good. I think we went up to, what, 9 Eldrazi now? We got 3 Slaughter Drones, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That is a good count. Oof, look at that Ruination Guide. Absolutely beautiful. Exactly what this deck wants. Huge pickup for us. Dominator Drone, huge pickup for us. Starting to get more aggressive. Likely wheel Mist Intruder or Cryptic Cruiser. Mist Intruder is actually very good for this deck too with the Stoneforge Masterwork. Otherwise, I guess it's not that great, but I'd probably still play it. We're definitely looking like a 17-land deck. Dominator Drone, on the other hand, looking very good in this deck. So we're starting to look more beat down, which is only disappointing because that means the Containment Membranes are going to be not very good in our deck, but that's okay. Not a huge deal. Ooh. Look at this. Sludge Crawler versus Incubator Drone. I think actually Sludge Crawler. Incubator Drone's better with the Stoneforge Masterwork, but Sludge Crawler is just a real powerhouse card. I mean, I'd love to play the Vile Aggregate, but I'm not going to splash the third color. It just seems completely unnecessary. Hopefully we'll anticipate an Incubator Drone or Channeler, all of which would be fine, but let's take that Sludge Crawler. Windrider Patrol is probably one of the few non-Eldrazi cards I'm happy to take here. Really happy we're not giving up anything for it either. So Windrider Patrol is a very powerhouse card. May want to actually cut the Negate first. It's just a much better sideboard card. Keep in mind that most of the time you're playing Negate, it only counters like 7 cards in your opponent's deck, you know? 7 or 8 cards, which just makes it most of the time not worth it main deck. In my opinion. All right. Windrider Patrol. Spawning Bed is a huge pickup for us. Besides being a colorless source for all of our stuff, it also makes Eldrazi, which is just insane with Stoneforge Masterwork. Especially at instant speed when you have the mana open. It's like attack with my equipped guy. Okay, he suddenly gets way bigger. Yeah, this is one of my favorite archetypes in the entire format, for sure. I could take the Mindraker. Problem is I want to cut the Witness the End for it, and Witness the End is one of the things that really works well alongside Mindraker. I don't think we're a Bone Splinters deck. Blighted Steppe is just a colorless source, so I don't need that. Alright, yeah, we're taking the Mindraker here. Okay, so none of these cards actually matter. Not going to play Cloud Manta. How did I never realize this was a fish? Flying fish. I always just thought it was an insect. It doesn't look like a fish, does it? Does that look like a... Am I not looking at this picture correctly? Does not look like a fish to me. None of these cards really matter. I think I actually would prefer to hate the Mantis over the Manta. It seems like the most playable card. Unnatural Aggression actually might be. Yeah, Aggression can be good. Bloodlord. Wavewing Elemental. I mean, they're both fine. I'm not going to play either. Probably just take the rare because I'm not going to play any of those cards. Could have taken the foil land, I guess. All right, Silent Skimmer, on the other hand, I think I am going to play. It's also an Eldrazi. And I don't need the Vampiric Rites, I don't think. Let's cut the Witness the end. And maybe I just play Skimmer over Mindraker. I do have Sludge Crawler, Dominator, Drone, Oblivion Strike. So I do have 3 ways to exile, which is not that bad, actually. Cryptic Cruiser, okay. Not likely to play it, but I'm going to take it. All right, got the Anticipate back, which is really nice. I'm not going to play the Despoiler, so we'll take Anticipate. Sure, I'll take a Blister Pod. There's some decks that want it. Dutiful Return, maybe. Second to last pick, Stonehaven Medic is surprising. So, things that make me happy about our deck. I really think thematically our deck came together really nicely. Things I don't like about our deck, I wish we had a little bit more removal, but I'm not going to complain about the removal we have because I think it's certainly good enough. We ended up with good enough removal. We've got a good game plan. Not a ton of top end, but enough. I have to make some cuts, clearly, here. I kind of want to squeeze this Anticipate in there. Let's cut the Cryptic Cruiser. I think we're cutting the Mindraker, too. I'm just not going to worry about... Because I still think I have like a bajillion Eldrazi, especially with this spawning bed, too. Let's do a final Eldrazi count right now. I have to make one more cut, though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7... 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. That is a really nice count. I could cut one of my translators. Because, like I said, I kind of want to get this Anticipate in there. Translator's good, though, in this deck. It is. But it's usually, I mean, it's good with Havoc Sower. It's good for getting the Slaughter Drones to do something. I just basically like running Anticipate because it makes more hands keepable, which is just really nice. I might cut a Translator. I feel like I don't need 2. I don't mind having 2, but I think I would just prefer to have 1 and 1 Anticipate. And I think I'm just going to keep all of my removal spells. Because we actually have pretty good evasion now, which is going to make these Containment Membranes better. I was worried about them, but considering I've got double Sky Scourer, I've got Slaughter Drones that can attack or block, which makes the Membranes better anyway, because it's like, if they're not going to attack, I don't care. And if I attack with Slaughter Drone and they don't want to block, they can attack back, and then I can Containment Membrane. So either one of those options is fine. Do I need... Maybe I don't need the Hedron Crawler. I just like having a 2-drop ramp spell, though. I don't need it. I might be able to cut the Crawler. We have a few 4 and 5 drops I wouldn't mind ramping to. I kind of like having the Colorless Mana Source. I think I'm going to cut the Translator. I just sort of have my heart set on having a low curve 17 land deck like this. This deck is really cool. I like this deck a lot. This is one of the finer blue-black Stoneforge Masterwork. Believe it or not, this isn't the first time I've made this deck. So 4 colorless sources. Can I get away with that? I have 1 double black, 1 double blue. That likely means I probably can. They say 7/6, which would be 7.5 black, 6.5 blue. If you count the holdout settlement as a half, which I guess you really should only count it as half. Am I okay with 4 colorless mana sources? So I have 3 Slaughter Drones, a Havoc Sower, and gravity negators and blinding drone. All right, I mean, I've got quite a few things that really want us to have colorless mana, so I think I am going to make our mana base like this. This deck is definitely in B territory. Like I said, it's one of the better blue-black devoid archetype decks I've made, and I really like the way it looks. I kind of want to give it I want to give it a solid like 86%, I think, which may seem high comparatively to what my other decks have sort of been recently, but something about this deck looks really nice and synergistic. I'm really liking the way this deck looks. I think we ended up with some pretty powerful synergistic cards, despite the fact we have like no bombs, which might be the only downside of this deck. Although I guess you can kind of count Windrider Patrol as a bomb. It just looks really nice. So yeah, about 86%, I think. All right, run it like this. We'll see you around one.